evening or afternoon, wherever you are watching this. I am Ripper56, and this is the Alberta Avalanche podcast. That is my co-host, Psychopan3000.
Hello there.
How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're having a fantastic day.
One second. I'm just going to make sure that my mic did not accidentally turn off from our stream, because we just literally hopped off stream a few minutes ago on the Two Bros Gaming Twitch.
We should be good, though.
I think we're good.
It's your mic's moving, so.
Mic's moving.
Anyway, welcome to the Two Bros. Sorry, this is not the Two Bros Gaming podcast. This is the Alberta Avalanche podcast, or AVA on Twitter, I guess. But anyway, today our topic is NFT, crypto, and the meta. Dangers, plus positives, cons, pros, everything like that. And of course the metaverse.
Exactly.
As we know it, VR, stuff like that. Dangers and stuff like that of the metaverse. I don't know much about this. This will be mostly Psycho talking, but I'll be here mediating, making sure he doesn't get off of the topic of the questions. This is more of a informational podcast. We usually do more topical.
But here's
more
the thing.
Our opinions. It's still our opinions, no matter what. So
just 1 second, but I'm just going to clarify. I've done a little bit of research on the metaverse and all that stuff, NFTs, crypto. Again, these are our preferences. I know some people really do enjoy them. Some people really do hate them. I did try and come at this as basic as possible. I'm going to just quickly state a few of my references here.
Okay.
I did special shout out to Linus Tech Tips, a lot of his research. Mr. Who's the Boss, a lot of his stuff. Couple of shorts that I have no idea who they are, but they were really helpful.
Okay.
A couple different articles like The Guardian, Verge, ones like that.
And of course, just common knowledge of crypto and stuff like that.
And
being in
research
the
through
Twitch
Twitter and
space,
all that stuff.
And being inside of the Twitch space that's a big thing for pros, for pros as in Fortnite and Alberta, of a bunch of pros for a bunch of video games. They're into it. It's an interesting topic for sure. It's definitely not one that we'll just glance over. We'll definitely go into a bit more depth of what we think or what we feel is okay for a crypto and NFT.
There we go.
But let's get into the first question. NFT, crypto, and meta, what are they? What is this? So what is this technically? What is it?
So I'm just going to start off with crypto. Crypto is basically a digital currency that utilizes, instead of a bank processing your information, it utilizes many spread out little data centers, hence why you can mine it on your computers to process the information. So you're basically taking away a little bit more of the bank roll of your money. It's kind of really hard to explain without it being like...
That's crypto mining we're talking about right now?
No, not crypto mining. It's basically a way to remove the bank from your money. You'll have more control of it. You have more say, but then again, it fluctuates every day. Kind of like the US dollar a little bit, but it's a digital-based currency that has no ties to any real-world value except the stock of the company. So if you buy crypto one day, you could wake up and it's 5 times less or 500 times more, or you could invest in the company and it could go bankrupt and you lose all your money. So it's basically more of a gamble than it is just getting it in your local currency. NFTs stand for non-fungible tokens. Okay. Basically, it gives you proof of ownership over digital goods and digital assets,
So it's like investing into something.
Crypto is not investing.
No, I'm meaning NFTs.
NFTs are not investing. I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
And then Metaverse. Metaverse is actually one that I'm going to just kind of call out and say. Metaverse is very much so just a buzzword right now. Except for Mark Zuckerberg and a couple other companies. I'm going to have to really get into this in a minute here. But except for them, really, there's nobody really... Everybody just throws around Metaverse as in the latest buzzword, as it's going to be the next latest and greatest thing. I just think, honestly, though, when everybody says, we've invested $400 million into the Metaverse. Yeah. It's more of they're investing into a digital game, and it just sounds trendy to call it a Metaverse.
Okay.
So, Lego acquisition onto Epic Games, a $2 billion acquisition into the Metaverse. I honestly think it's just Lego being a little bit trendy and Epic Games being a little bit trendy of like, we're in the metaverse. It's just going to be an online game. Let's be real. The definition of a metaverse is a meta world. Basically, it's an online world. Everything will be digital. I have some very deep cons for that are going to be coming up, and some really good pros coming up also. But it's kind of like, that's just the lightest skimming of what digital crypto and NFTs are. They're all very much so linked together. You can't have a metaverse without a digital currency, so crypto. And you can't have a digital world without a way to prove that you own something in it, NFTs. So they're all linked very much so together. You can't just pick one and not like the other. But
so basically, the only reason NFTs was created is so you could actually buy something with your crypto? That's the only reason? Until it actually looks like a product? Or it actually looks like a currency? Because you can't actually use crypto. Well, I think China has the first crypto wallet kind of thing that you can buy stuff with. But it's just basically a way for you to spend your crypto and make it an actual currency?
1 second. Can I just quickly steal a piece of paper from the pen? I'm going to write down a couple thoughts that I have real quick here. I just need the book back. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Just so that I can, like, remember what topics I've talked about, because I was going to do a key point outline, but unfortunately I ran out of time. Kind of the gist of this podcast, come to think of it. Running out of time.
I've got a key thing outline, so if you get off topic, I can bring you back.
NFTs very much so. I'm not sure how to start this. Should I start crypto, then NFTs, then metaverse?
Well, since crypto was the first.
Yeah, let's start off with crypto.
Yeah.
Okay, where to start? Crypto started off as a way to have more control of your money. Basically, it takes money away from banks, puts it into a digital currency, and then it's able to be transmitted so much more easily. There's no border laws of like you have to take US dollar, transmit it into Canadian dollar. You just buy it with it. The downside to that, though, is there's no actual any way to verify your money. So like you could have $1 billion in crypto. Okay, I'm not sure whether you use ETF, KlueCoin, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, all those other ones. Like there's so many out there.
Yeah.
But it's very much so. It's not a stock where you invest in it. It's a gamble where you hope it gets big. Like that's the thing with crypto is everybody says crypto investing. It's not crypto investing, more of crypto gambling.
Yeah.
Because you can work hard, you get paid in crypto, and then you go home, you look at the crypto value. Your crypto could be worth less than minimum wage. So because of that, you're then being paid less than minimum wage. But then here's another thing. You go home, your crypto's worth more, you got paid more than minimum wage. It's more of a gamble than it is actually being able to be like, you know what? I know the US dollar is going to buy me $1 is going to buy me something at the dollar store. One crypto could be worth $1 million, or the next day, like Doge, like it was worth so much money, and now Doge is pretty well worthless. All those people who bought $10,000 of Doge, I think is like $1 now. Let me see here, actually.
One Dogecoin equals 0.18 Canadian.
0.18 Canadian?
0.18. 18 cents Canadian. 18 cents.
So one Doge is equal 18. So it's more of a...
That's a gamble for sure.
The pro side, though, I'm going to say, of having a crypto-based currency system, I'm not sure if there is one, really.
Yeah.
Like, with crypto, it's more of... I'm not hating on it because I dislike crypto. I think it could be useful.
Yeah.
But I don't like where it heads. Like, when you no longer know what your money's worth. It's like what happened to the gold standard. When we removed the gold standard, all money became what was worth on the exports of the country.
Yeah.
Instead of based on what the value of gold was. And that's very much so crypto. It's based on the value of the company, not based on the good of the company.
Yeah.
So, like, you're basically buying... This is how you can think of it. You're buying a digital currency. That digital currency you're paying for, that payment is going to the owner of the company, not into something to keep it so that if it collapses, they can pay you back.
I mean, it's honestly a hard question, a hard prospect, not prospect, a hard picture, hard, I'm trying to just think of the word, hard
It's
thing to get your mind around. Crypto, a currency within a currency, is what you could probably call it. A currency that's not necessarily worth the same as your normal currency, but it's still a currency within a currency.
More.
It could. And then there's no borders in crypto.
You could use crypto in Asia or in North America.
You could buy crypto in, what's the least right now? Probably
Doge.
For money in like worldwide. What would be like the worst?
I think it's Sri Lanka ruble.
Yeah, something like that. You buy it there, buy the equal amount, and then transmit it over into Americans. So that's
I don't
money
think
laundering.
that's how it works.
Pardon me?
I don't think that's how it works. I didn't get into
There is
like,
no borders in crypto. That's the thing.
I know, but I think you buy it on par with US dollar.
You always have to buy it on par?
Or buy it on par with the country that it was founded in. I think it's how it has to be. I'm not entirely sure though. One second.
Okay. How do you
I'm gonna search up Bitcoin.
how to buy Bitcoin? Maybe?
1 Bitcoin is equal to 50,000 US dollars. Wow.
How to buy Bitcoin? 50,654.
I want to see buy Bitcoin. How to buy Bitcoin. Let me see. Sheesh.
Oh my goodness.
buy
It used
one
to be
Bitcoin.
$80,000. That's expensive.
So Bitcoin price. I get for $30, I get 0.000 Bitcoin.
Okay.
And that's a minimum. Oh, you buy it in US dollars.
Okay, it's always
So
US?
you can't buy it in Canadian.
Okay, so it isn't money laundering.
No.
At least there's that.
But like right now, one Bitcoin is down 68%. Is worth 50,000 in Canada. I didn't realize that MSN had a Bitcoin converter. Oh, Canada US dollars. Never mind.
Bitcoin in
Actually, that's kind of cool. Here, I'll show my screen here.
rupees?
This is the first time we're actually going to do this on this podcast of actually swapping
rupees?
to screens here.
Rupees.
Like, see? Just to prove it, at the time of recording, 1 Bitcoin is worth this. Oh,
Okay, you actually can. 3 million rupees is what it is.
Where's US dollars? US. That's Australian US dollar. Okay, it's 40,000 US dollars. That just shows how much different Canada. Absolutely, that's the wrong screen.
That's kind of crazy. But, like,
It's
one coin is worth that much money?
It's
That's
kind
crazy.
of confusing how they set it up. I wish they made it like $1 is equal to $1. And here's the other thing. When you own crypto, it's very easy to lose track of the amount of money you actually have. So like say you buy 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That could be worth $50,000. But because it's only one, it's so much easier to spend it. Because it's only 1 Bitcoin. When in reality that could be 50,000, 60,000 US dollars and you could have bought it for 30,000.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to lose track of what you actually own.
What could you buy? Like, what can you buy with Bitcoin?
You can pretty well. It's like the most reliable and reputable.
But what can you buy with it?
It's getting a little bit more accepted as a payment currency. Like Newegg will accept it as a payment.
Really?
Different online stores will accept them as payments now. Tesla would accept you for payment if you bought a car with it.
Oh. But they would probably check the current rate and then transmit it over immediately?
You would have to have the current rate. So if you bought high, that's the thing. It's like as soon as you start using crypto in a digital currency world, you could buy a car when one day your 1 Bitcoin is worth 80 grand. And then your next day, the Bitcoin could be worth 15 grand.
Or
You're basically walking away with a free car pretty well.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem we have with crypto right now, and I think you could agree, I think most people would agree, is that it's very unstable.
It's very unstable. And I would say, like, as much as I want to keep away big tech from this, we'll get into that in a minute with Meta, there needs to be some sort of regulation for it. It's too... Like, look at the Phase K scandal.
Yeah.
Where, like, they literally were able to rip off hundreds of people and scam people. And it just, that happens a lot in the crypto world. And I feel like because crypto is like a wire transfer, there's no way you can ever track it down. So say you lose your crypto, it's gone for good. You can't get it back. And that's the way that it's set up.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get scammed out of your money with crypto and forget that you've been scammed.
Yeah. Would it be safer? I think that right now, the hype around Bitcoin, stuff like that, is that it's no governmental control over it.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be better to have it under governmental control, or would that practically destroy the crypto area?
First of all, I don't think you want really any government control. As soon as you put government control over it, it's no longer a crypto, it's a government currency.
True.
But like that's the thing that's about crypto is it's non-governmental regulations, but there needs some sort of regulation. Like big tech, they're starting to put more regulations so that they can actually compete with little tech.
Yeah.
I mean, vice versa, little tech can compete with big tech. They need something with that of like some stabilizations, like the banks have all of these things that they have to follow. I think crypto needs something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that people should be mining crypto at all. I think crypto farms should be gone, and they would have to be brought in-house.
In order to do that, though, you need massive processing power.
Oh, yeah. And I agree you need massive processing power. And that's another thing about crypto is it is so hard on the environment. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not full-blown. Like, we need to protect the environment. It's the only world we have. Mm-hmm. But there are smart things of good ways to protect it, and there are bad ways. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. I look at my great-grandfather, technically. He was a lumberjack in New Brunswick. He very much so cared about what he did to the environment because we are keepers of the environment. Mm-hmm. So he didn't clear cut or anything like that. He select cutted. So he would chop down a tree, but he would leave surrounding trees up until they would grow up, and then he would come back and chop those ones down, but then the surrounding trees. So he never, any of the land that he owned, he never clear cut.
And then he always replanted.
Mm-hmm. He always replanted.
He always replanted. It's not like Irving down in New Brunswick.
Where they just literally just chop down their entire mountainside.
Yeah.
Like he was a very, very smart man. Mm-hmm. And then that way you're just not clear cutting and you're like, oh, I got this like little tiny twig, just throw it in the burn pile. Mm-hmm. That little tree then became a big tree and you come back in like 3 years time, chop that one down. And it just created this really good cycle of being able to protect the environment. It wasn't
smart cutting.
It was smart cutting.
But with crypto,
it's not smart. We're using so much processing powers of everybody's PCs. Like look at these crypto farms in some areas of the States where it's literally an entire Quonset full of just rigs of GPUs. Mm-hmm. They're using so much power. And GPUs aren't easy to make. Like the chips, like go watch Linus Tech Tips videos on how to make a silicon chip. Like this little guy I have behind me. Actually, I can show like this little thing right here. Just going to take it out of the box right here. It's a lot of packaging. This little thing right here requires nearly 400. No. It requires 40 million to make. And you're taking them, and GPUs have these little chips inside of them. They have the processing dies in order to make a GPU work. I'll place this away after stream here. By the way, that's for a project that's going to be on stream one day, hopefully. Hopefully one day. Mm-hmm. But that little chip for a GPU requires so much processing power, so much man hours, so many hours of electricity, of water, and all this other resources. Mm-hmm. And then you take that and you leave it running every day. Yeah. These little things are power hogs. Like a PC will probably require more power. Like a PC running crypto would probably require more power than the average household would. Like, here's the thing. You're running it 24/7. You're not using it for gaming or anything productivity wise. So it's basically, you're just running it. Yeah. And you're running it constantly. Like when you have a light on, like at least in our family, as soon as we leave the room, we shut the light off. We don't use very many lights. For stream, I use 2 IKEA lights with LEDs in them. True. Simply because I like the light style. I like the shading. Yeah, they're just good little lights. But with the crypto mining, you're so heavily involved of just using so much raw power. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they're using so much raw power, but they're not putting back into the grid. True. I mean, the electricity grid. So basically, every watt they take or amp or whatever it is, they're not putting it back in like with a solar farm. Mm. I know my grandpa actually has some solar panels. He's able to just with 6 panels. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 panels, I think. Mm-hmm. He's able to zero out his meter every month because he doesn't use that much electricity. Mm-hmm. So he's putting back into the grid because the stuff that he's using covers his cost from the panels. So everything his panels produces, he's able to use.
Yeah.
And then it's still put back into the grid. That's not the same with crypto. You're stealing so much raw energy.
And that way you're burning natural gas.
You're burning
or coal or whatever you use or water, because look at mostly down in like the southern states,
Nevada.
western states, Nevada area. It's mostly the Hoover Dam and stuff. So like you're burning so much power. Yeah, it's like, concerning for at least for until they find a better way to do it.
There is no better way to do it with crypto though, unless they brought it in-house data centers. Like banks, like IBM, like stuff like that. There's no way where you can regulate your electricity or anything like that, because there's no way to control it. When you allow people to offshore mine, it'd basically be like allowing people to create, which would actually be kind of an interesting idea. I won't go to it on this stream, but allowing people to dig in their backyard for an oil well. You're giving people the ability to steal other people's, not steal, but process other people's transactions with their own PC.
Yeah.
There's so much things that could go wrong with that. Especially as if more and more people start adopting it.
Yep.
Like, yeah, the thing with everybody's like crypto is safer. It's not really that safe. Like once something goes wrong or you got scammed, it's gone for good.
Yeah.
There's no way you can ever get that back.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? But it does beg the question for actual banks. How much processing power do they use? Because technically when you buy something online, there's the bank there. So does it beg the question that banks actually do this every single day as well?
Exactly.
So
here's the thing,
would it be better just to have one massive international Bitcoin bank?
No. That is a bad idea. Because if that goes down, then people lose money. If that crashes, that's why banks normally will have they'll have their data center.
Okay, let's say national banks. One big national bank.
And then a couple of little data centers. So here's how a bank works. Like when you take your debit card and tap, you see that little processing payment. That basically means it goes to your bank. They're like, okay, this person uses their money. Let's make sure it's actually them. Doesn't look suspicious. We'll approve the transaction. Yeah. And then the money gets sent back to the store of like, yep, it's approved. That's how banking works. But it's all housed in one data center. Maybe two, maybe three, depending on how many they have. But they know how their power consumption, all that stuff. And it's regulated by different labor laws, and at least in Canada, like different practices that we have already set up. That's not the same with crypto though. It's so volatile of like, there's no way to ever figure out how much is being, like, sure, there's maybe different ways to do it of like figuring out how much is being transactioned and all that stuff. It's all under the table. Yeah. There's nobody who actually sees every transaction except for maybe the government of the company. Well, like the governing board.
Not even government, because
I mean the governing board of the company.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that. If everybody's doing it, there is no governing board. If everybody and their cat is mining crypto and is buying crypto, is transactioning crypto, there is no way for you to get... You can average. You can average out of how much money you're getting, but there's no way to actually know for certain.
Yes and no. When you're mining, unless you're a part of a mining pool, you're taking small amounts of profit from the transaction as kind of like a debit card provider where they charge you an interest rate.
But there's so many of those. But what's even the base minimum for transactions?
It depends on how much your PC can handle. So basically, if I set my PC up to mine, I have a 3070. My PC could probably handle a little bit of the load. So therefore, I would get more of an income. Yeah. There's a different way of doing it that Ethereum uses. It's called a PC pool. So basically, when you turn your PC on, it links up with the pool in the surrounding area, and then it splits the load across all of the PCs. So say your neighbor has a 1050, you have a 3090, you'll get more money because you have the more expensive processing power, but his computer helped a little bit, so it splits your profit a little bit. That's how also Norton crypto mining works. Besides, don't use that. It takes a 15% cut from every transaction on top of you already paying. So I think it's like a 45% cut off of all of your Ethereum mined. So you're not even paying your power bit with that Ethereum.
So the problem with that, though, is with so many computers being linked, Who sees that? Who oversees you linking your entire or everybody's computers?
Your PC pool?
Pardon me?
Your Ethereum pool?
Who sees? They could probably see what's on your computer.
More than likely.
They could probably control what you see, what you watch, what you view. That's not okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing with like, I'm just gonna finish.
Company,
the company doesn't actually provide the mining equipment either.
No.
So like when you want to mine Bitcoin, you actually have to go to a third-party program in order to mine it. Mm-hmm. So like, there's just no way to know. Like, you could get a really good company, but it's open sourced.
But is it really open sourced?
Yeah, but you don't know what these people do. Like, they could be people that are actually putting like phishing scams into your computer. Again, I'm saying this as more of an informational thing. I'm not sure if actually this happens or not.
It could.
I know it could, but like, you get somebody who's just new to mining, they grab the first one they see off the internet, it's a scam. They're thinking they're mining crypto, when in turn they're getting less of a profit and they're just handing over their information.
Yeah.
And this is what we're going to get into in a little bit here. Your information about yourself on the web when you're browsing is so valuable. Like, that is the most valuable thing about you.
Yeah. Because with that information, people can forge passports.
No. They don't. Forget forging passports. They can forge you.
True.
They can learn, and I'm going to get into this in the metaverse here. They can learn everything about you from what you search, from what you buy. They're like, I purposely go into my Google and see if I can wreck what they know about me by like, right now my Google thinks I'm a 34-year-old single family home with at least $500,000 to $1 million in revenue. I enjoy making sure I can mess up what my Google thinks I am, because I know what my information is valued on the web, and that's why so many more, like, back in the day, I'm not sure if anybody remembers this. Every time that you used a web browser or something like that, you actually had to pay for those.
True.
Like, when you wanted to upgrade Windows, got to shell it over. Got to upgrade Mac, got to shell it over. Mm-hmm. So every time you upgraded your processing unit, had to shell it over. Anybody wonder why that's all free now? Don't think it's big tech being like, oh, we make enough money for free. No, they make enough money off of your information.
Yeah.
That they're able to, like, I'm thinking of when I do the new stream computer, I'm thinking of going Linux. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of going of a Linux operating system, because at least that one's open sourced and not connected to big tech. However, I don't want the hassle of trying to daily drive Linux. That's the other thing, and I can't. There's some programs that don't work well with Linux.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to state this as a fact. So let's say a advertising group. Mm-hmm. The people at Google know more about you than what a advertising group who collects data from like a lot of people. They only skim the surface. Google knows more about you than what practically anybody else knows.
Exactly.
Even this advertising group, they can't even get down to the specifics.
One second, I'm just going to stop you.
No, I'm not. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it.
No, 1 second. This is what you're saying wrong. The advertising group doesn't know anything about you, yes. But that's why they're going to be buying it from Google, is because Google knows more about you than anything else. Like, that is why Google collects your data, is to sell it to groups for advertising. Mm-hmm. That is what the point is of the collecting your data. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm just going to stop your roll just a little bit here.
Well, here's
because that's how they're making more money, is selling it to advertising groups.
True. But here's the deal. They still know more about you than what they probably would give to an advertising group.
Oh, yeah. They know hundreds more. They're only giving to the advertising group what they pay for.
They know exactly what you would like to buy. Look at your TikTok. Mm-hmm. Look at your TikTok page. I was actually interesting. Pokimane, she got a new kitten, I think, a week, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days ago.
No, it's probably about 2 to 3 weeks ago. Within that time frame.
She just got it, though. Mm-hmm. Like, just got it. Her TikTok now knows she has a kitten, and now we'll give her kitten TikToks. Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing.
She never looked up kitten TikToks. She probably looked it up on her Google search, and now TikTok knows. Mm-hmm. Where are they getting that information? Google.
Well, no. TikTok has its own algorithm. 1 second. TikTok has its own algorithm that actually does collect information while you're scrolling. Well, different thing. Not sure if this is true or not, but it might even access your camera and microphone for like when you're using the app. So if you're talking, same thing that the way Siri works.
Probably just accesses your Siri or something like that.
leave Siri running, like with the Hey Siri, and just talk about wanting to buy a new car. Watch your ads on your phone be all about new cars. They're still listening in to see what you want to sell. And I feel like we're getting massively derailed from crypto here.
Well, this is all connected to
I know. We're going to talk about, well, actually, we should maybe go into Metaverse next, because this is what I want to talk about, Metaverse.
Sure. Well,
So
I mean,
this
we
is
might as well.
actually
We
a
just,
perfect segue.
just, you know, what we've last talked about, if you skipped ahead or something, what we last talked about was crypto, the pros and the
I think there's
uses of
mainly-
crypto, and then the cons of crypto
At
as
this
well.
point in the game, there's mainly cons for crypto.
True.
It's basically, I'm not even sure how to explain it. We don't really have anything in history to really compare it to. Everybody's comparing it to like TV and new tech. But here's the thing with the TV. That was just entertainment.
True.
This is a way of doing life. And like the last comparison would be comparing it to when we went away from the gold standard. Basically, if nobody knows what the gold standard is, all of our money used to be, at least, in the world, pretty well, used to be, if you had a $1 US, you could transmit that into $1 worth of gold. It was a bank note. It wasn't actual money. So basically, if your government wanted to produce more money, they would have to buy more gold in order to have in the reserves. They got rid of that because it made it so that they couldn't inflate money.
Yeah.
That's how the gold standard worked.
It was flawed as well, because there's not that much gold in the world.
You
There's
had to
probably
inflate
enough
numbers.
gold in the world to fill one entire NFL football field. Like one,
We're not
all the
sure.
way to the top of like a big building.
Until we
There's
figure
probably
out
enough for that.
Until we figure out alchemy of like transmitting one matter into another, which is
That's
theoretic-
another that we might never discover that. Ever.
Theoretically, it is possible.
Theoretically, but we
you
haven't
have
done
to
that
change the atoms' molecular makeup.
Yeah, but we haven't
Different
done
topic,
that.
different time. Well, there's actually a couple of good topics we could get out of this podcast.
I mean, true, but like.
but like, yeah, I'm just gonna say at this point in the game, crypto is too risky to be good.
True.
If it had more of a guideline, and I feel like everybody's like, crypto's been around for like 10, 12 years now. It's been around for that time.
Okay.
But in the same amount of time, I think Bitcoin was started in 2008.
Something around there. When was Bitcoin invented? 2009.
Okay, 2009. I was a year off, actually. That was
That's actually
pretty
very
close.
impressive.
But like, yeah, it's still too early to be. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's really being pushed right now is the latest trend, and people are hopping on it for the trend, not because they're actually involved in the long run. It's more of a, I got crypto, and you can put it as like a little banner on your Twitter. It's more of a trend than it is actually going to be adopted. And I think people who are heavily pushing for it are the most to have the most amount to gain from it.
True.
Like you look at anybody pushing crypto, they either own massive amounts of Bitcoin, they either own their own company, they're either sponsored.
True.
And yeah. And I'm just going to go, actually, I'm going to hold off on a minute on the Metaverse.
What
I
are,
want
your
to go
what are your closing statements on the crypto side?
closing statements on crypto. Wait, do not get involved in it right now. It is too much of a viable. It's not viable enough right now.
Volatile.
It's too volatile. Like, sure, if you want to put some money into crypto, make sure you still have enough money to live on, because you don't know if this is going to blow up or if it's going to tank. Don't bet your entire bank, because it's not an investment.
Yeah.
An investment knows, at least if it goes bankrupt or if it goes downhill a little bit, you can hold it and it will still gain a little bit of value, but the more you hold it. That's not with crypto. Crypto is more of a gamble than it is an actual investment.
Yeah. And then, of course, if it does go under, then there's also the raining overhead. At least you
At
won't
least
go
with
completely
a
broke.
company, when it goes down, they have to in some way pay off shareholders. So when you buy stock, you're buying a little bit of share or something.
Yeah.
You're able to get some compensation.
Yeah.
Crypto,
And that's, of course, by regulating. There's the regulation.
crypto, there's nothing like that. When it goes down, it's very much so like the original stock market of the 1930s. That's what it has to be compared to. There was no regulations for the stock market.
Yeah.
And when it crashed, it went into a global depression.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what it's comparable to.
So just don't hedge all your bets on crypto.
Don't throw all
Stay
your
safe,
money. If you
of
want to
course.
buy crypto, make sure it's within your means. Like maybe buy like $30 worth of it, and then buy like $30 a month. That way, like $30 a month, I'm just gonna say, it's not for the most average person. You're not gonna be food for that. There are gonna be some families where $30 a month you're not gonna be able to eat. But for the average person, that would mean maybe you miss out on going to the latest premiere of a movie, or you miss out buying the latest video game, but it's $30. Yeah. So just be careful if you do want to get in crypto. Do your research. Make sure you're buying the one that you want. Make sure that it's a company that you think is reputable. Like if I was to do crypto, I'd probably go with a Clue coin because I trust the MP3. But yeah, make sure it's somebody you can trust.
Yeah.
Make sure it's somebody you can even like, if it goes down, you don't feel bad about it. Yeah. Just don't go like, oh, Dogecoin. Everybody, like, I feel so bad for the people who bought Doge. Even a couple of cents worth of it. There are a couple of cents is worth less than a cent. You can't transmit that into anything now.
Yeah.
Like Tim the Tatman bought 10 grand, didn't he?
No, he did not.
Okay.
No, that's misinformation. I don't even know if I think he bought a couple. I don't think he bought much at all. I think he would just has because he said something about not even setting up his wallet. So that's concerning. but anyway, so just be careful, of course.
Like anything on the internet, be careful. Like don't go click on free Robux.
No.
Use your common sense. If you think it's a good choice for you, do it. It's not going to be something that is.
Yeah.
But just don't go with one that has never been heard of. Like, oh, it's a really good deal. Go with an established one like Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like that. Something where you at least know a lot of people own it. It's not going to break the bank if it loses value. Or if it does, I can just wait a few more months.
For sure. All right. What do you want to talk about next?
NFTs.
NFTs? Okay, NFTs and then Meta? All right.
Okay, NFTs is going to be a complete...
It's practically the same as crypto, but...
I actually like NFTs.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of NFTs. I love them as a digital artist.
And yet you don't like crypto.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of NFTs. Again, NFTs are very hard on the environment. They work a similar way of proof of ownership. Basically, when you buy something, it gets processed, and then you get sent the proof of ownership. That's how... skimming the surface of how an NFT works.
How a transaction would work legally, of course.
But here's the thing. NFTs are, I would say, are okay for the art community. They're decent, actually. I would say being able to know who owns your JPEG image, that is beautiful. Like when I upload an image to my Discord, I'm not sure how many people have ripped it off. Like not saying anybody in our Discord would rip it off, just as a note. I'm in each other Discords.
Yeah.
When I upload it to any amount of Discords, I'm not sure who's downloaded it, who saved it, who took a screenshot of it, and who's going to re-upload it as their own image. I embed a watermark in every single one of my works.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say where, but I actually embed a special, my own drawn one, that if you went in and tried to remove it, it would change the way the drawing would look ever so slightly, and it wouldn't work as well. Like, that's what I do. And then I sign it, and then I watermark it as well. And I normally put a watermark in an area where you can't crop it out easily.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my drawing, just because I'm paranoid of people stealing it. Because you put so much effort into it. But that's where the non-fungible tokens, NFTs, come in really handy. Of when you upload it and mint it, you know who owns it. You get a profit every time it's sold. And yeah, you know, like only 5 of them are made. Or 20, depending on how many you mint.
Yeah.
I love that.
Or 1.
Yeah, if you want to mint 1, you want to mint 20.
Yeah.
That is the greatest thing about it. For gaming community, I think it's a load of sham.
Like, it's just a sham.
I think it's just a scam.
Yeah.
Like, being able to because here's the thing. Everybody has their own company. Everybody has their own game engine. When people say being able to move your asset from one game into another, it's normally within the same company, if that. Because look at Ubisoft Quartz.
True.
Their NFT game is now dead. They're shutting down support for it.
Okay.
And that just came out last year.
Really?
So they're one thing that or 2 years ago maybe. I can't remember when. But Ghost Point Recon or whatever, Breakpoint, it was like their first NFT game.
Okay.
It's now getting shut down, and all of their things of like, you're able to get exclusive content that could be worth something. Now it's going to be worth nothing because you spent money on it. It's now bankrupt. They're still going to be using Quartz, but you're not going to be able to transmit those assets anymore.
Yeah.
So I do think it's a scam, and very much so. As much as everybody says, you can move from like. Here's the thing. One thing I like about Fortnite, if Fortnite was to die, like literally tomorrow, nobody's playing it anymore, you could still use the skins and save the world.
True.
Like you could still play offline solo player campaign. Like you could still do that. That'll be fine. Or if they want to shut down support for that, they'll probably just make it localized. If you just download all the assets on your computer and play the game, you still will own your skins. You're not owe any money.
Yeah.
Same thing with Call of Duty Warzone. Like, as much as I'm not a big fan of like the game itself, but when you bought your skins, if the game Call of Duty Warzone, when it shuts down next year, you can still use the skins in Cold War.
Or Vanguard.
Or Vanguard. You can still use the skins that you bought in the game that you bought them with, unless you don't own Vanguard, and then you're kind of hooped.
Does it actually like completely shut down next year?
They'll probably keep it running for last gen consoles, but then it'll be shutting down.
Okay.
Warzone's time is limited to mid. They might even shut it down the day that the new one drops to try and get people to get onto the new one.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's definitely a dying ship.
Yeah.
It's not gonna at this time next year. I think it's supposed to be releasing this in April or.
What, this next Call of Duty?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, for
Like
Warzone.
late.
No, I think Warzone, the new Call of Duty launches this year. Modern Warfare 2022. Modern Warfare 2 2022. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to merge with Warzone in April.
Yeah.
With the new Warzone. Mm.
The new Warzone. I don't know when their schedule is because things have been thrown off recently, but.
Oh, yeah. Everything's been thrown off.
But not buying out, but technically buying out.
And then the lawsuits have been happening and all that stuff.
So it's been thrown off for a bit. So I don't necessarily know.
Mm-hmm. So we'll just say theoretically next year.
Yeah.
Basically, though, so say you bought Vanguard skins. You're not going to be able to move them into the new Warzone. You're still going to have Vanguard in order to play the game or use those skins.
True.
But when you buy an NFT game, as soon as that game closes down or the NFT market closes down, your skins are just a skin now.
Yeah.
It's not an NFT. It's just a skin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm going to compare it to CSGO. You're able to sell your items in CSGO, but they're not an NFT.
Yeah.
They're just part of the game. And then when the game shuts down, that part of the game will also be shut down.
Mm-hmm. True.
And I feel like we're putting so much... it's such a trend right now if anything's an NFT that we're just losing sight on the fact that it's a trend.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mom is getting into NFTs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, once it's the next big thing comes along, people are still going to like him, but they're going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very much so. You can definitely tell on how much it's being promoted by the social media. Like, look at any big social media star or any movie actor, anybody who's in anybody in the world. They've at least at one time in their career probably promoted for an NFT or a crypto thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the people who make an NFT know that it's just a trend that's not going to probably last for too much longer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for NFTs to last, what they need to do is separate it from crypto. You need to be able to buy it in real world money, and then somebody owns a JPEG.
Yeah. I think it's for an NFT to buy an NFT. It's more of it's because it's connected to crypto, and they don't really view it as real money. Because if you were to buy, let's say, if this artwork was worth $100, would you actually buy it in American money? Mm-hmm. No.
Or 2.9 million.
But if it's three Dogecoins, let's say if Dogecoins was worth like $100 or $50 or whatever, if it was worth 3 Dogecoin, it looks more like, oh yeah, that's okay. Deal. Like that's why it's a thing. NFTs. It would turn more into, if you turned it into like actual money, it would turn more into like an actual art gallery or something like that, where you just buy it.
A digital art gallery.
Yeah, that's really all it would be.
NFTs, I'm going to go into 2 different trains of thought here. NFTs are proof of
ownership.
No, you don't own an NFT. It's proof. This is a catch that they get you on. You don't own an NFT. You don't own the right. When you buy an artwork from an artist, you don't own the right to reproduce. Yes, sure. You don't own the right to like reprint it.
Yeah.
But you at least own it that you can like, literally this picture behind me. I got this one from my favorite artist in the world, Jazza. Mm-hmm. Follow him on YouTube. Great content creator. Really good. Really fun to watch. I own that artwork. I get to enjoy it every single day.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't necessarily mean that he won't do more of those.
No. But like, that's the same thing. I feel like, here, I can actually just swap to my screen here.
To your screen.
Yeah. I made this artwork. And if you're unfortunately, if you're watching this on Spotify, you won't be able to see it. Maybe check out our stream. I can show it to you on stream. I made this artwork. I spent time.
Twitch.tv/the2bros gaming, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I spent time on it. I made it. I own that artwork. I can control who owns it. I can control who wants it. When you buy an NFT, though, people think it's proof of ownership. It's proof that you have in your possession the artwork. That's how it has to be phrased.
Yeah.
You're owning the digital rights to have the JPEG image. Everybody thinks that it's NFT so cool. It's a JPEG image. You're owning a JPEG image. So you're spending $2.9 million on an image that you could only have on your computer.
True. And you actually can't take it off your wallet, can you?
No. You can't so they're even putting now, like, if you bought it and you tried to screenshot it, it would blur the image.
Oh, that's fake. That's fake.
No.
That's a fake.
No.
No, you can still steal it, no problem.
There's different ways, but if you try and use the actual, like, shift key or, like, the Apple screenshot.
It's actually that was a fake. That was debunked. I saw the same thing.
No. There is certain ways that they can blur it out with data processing and all that stuff. If you take a official screenshot, if you use a secondary program like Snip and Sketch, you can still rip them off. There are still ways to screenshot them, but if you just do like the official screenshot, I think some of these ones out there can now blur them out. Maybe, I'm not sure. Now you got me second guessing myself.
Well, I saw the same thing. It was debunked. So
okay. Well,
it's just like
maybe test it out. Maybe don't.
But don't actually
test it out. That's illegal.
Yeah. Well, actually, technically, it's not because there is no rules technically for it.
Actually, I'm gonna get into two other cases.
Because you can.
So last year, somebody bought the first tweet by some sort of social media person for $2.9 million.
As an NFT. Oh.
Do you know how much he's trying to get for it now?
How much?
He was trying to get $5 million. Do you know how much the highest bid is right now for it?
$10.
$6,000. So he bought it for $2.9 million. And the most he can get, this is from The Guardian. They're an online organization. If you want to go donate, they are extremely great. I love reading their articles.
I wonder who was the first person to tweet on Twitter.
I'm not sure.
I actually kind of want to look it up now.
But they are losing that much money because of its NFT. And that's how volatile. It's not an investment, it's a gamble. And another thing is, if you wanted to buy a part of the reason why people buy NFTs are to feel a part of the club. Like, you remember the Ape Club? The Ape Yacht Club collection on NFTs. That was a really good collection. They were made by an artist. That community cares about each other. They even do IRL meetups if you own one of those NFTs. Like, now to buy one, it's $290,000, but still, it was a good community around that NFT collection. However, that's not with every NFT. Like, when people buy NFT, it's not always one because they like the art. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times NFT art is a little bit, for me personally, in my taste, I think it just really looks cheap, like a dollar store artwork.
Yeah.
Like, especially some of the block, like the retro cyberpunk ones, like where it's like the little head and it's like the 8-bit artwork. I think those personally look a little bit scammy.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
literally I can make one of those with a free art program online. If I wanted to, I could turn my Photoshop into 1 dot per inch.
Yeah.
And do it.
I mean, technically, I've done it actually before.
Yeah,
so
I love doing pixel art, but
I've even done it. So that's just something that would be like, what?
But anybody can do one of those artworks.
Yeah.
And another thing is, be careful of what NFTs you buy, because sure, some of them, like the Ape Yacht Club, have a really good community around them. They're actually really fun to own because they even do different things like meetups, meet and greets, online gaming events, stuff like that. But then there's other ones, like there's the Lion Club. An artist drew 50 NFTs, which that's still a lot. But when they're all the same, like this, you can use the same line art. It's really easy. You just re-ink it, call it good. Then they used an AI program to make 10,000 of them, using the 50 for reference. So you think you're buying a hand-drawn artwork. You're buying one that was replicated 10,000 times by an AI program. So it's not like you're owning an exclusive thing made by the artist. You're owning something made by an AI.
Which is something different for paintings. Because at least for a painting, you'd own the one. At least as far as you know.
Yeah.
But
you'd own the one artwork that was made. Now so when you buy the original artwork, that was my keyboard, I just clicked on it, sorry. When you buy that original artwork, you own the one that has the paint strokes.
Yeah.
With the colors. It looks gorgeous. Now the artist still owns the rights to it, so they can produce a print of it.
Yeah.
So it's basically like this one here. I don't own the original,
Yeah, you own a print.
Yeah. I own a print of the artwork, and he signed it over in the corner. Mm-hmm. He still owns the original. Actually, I think he sold it, actually. But yeah, he still has the rights to make those prints. If he wanted to, he could, even though he said he never would, maybe in the future one day, if he wanted to, Jazza could make more.
Or he could just draw himself one.
Yeah. Well, that is actually a drawing. That's a 3D replication of a drawing that he drew.
Yeah.
That was his most popular artwork. But yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a problem when NFT isn't already policed, and even for artwork and stuff like that, it's policed and yet still has scams. like that's the problem. How many more scams are happening for NFTs which aren't policed than with art that's literally policed really hard and it still gets scammed? Like, it's. Again, I think it's more of a...
It's a trend. It's more of a trend of, like, you own an NFT than it is actually a reliable, oh, I own an NFT.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, another thing is you don't own the NFT. You're the steward of that NFT. The owner still owns it. And they've proven that. Like, when the owner could take back the NFT at any time. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. This is what I want to compare it to. You want to own a piece of artwork? Go to Fiverr. Find an artist that you really do enjoy. Pay them $30. And you own that artwork now. Because of the way Fiverr's set up. When you get paid, you pay for that. The artist no longer... So that is your piece of art. But you own it for $30 instead of $2.9 million where you're the steward of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing of NFTs. Like, I feel like we're overhyping them in the art community so much. And even... Yeah. In the gaming circles especially, like, I'm going to call it Dr. Disrespect here. His NFT scam on that company, he is scamming people when he's making them seem like it's an uber exclusive club.
Yeah.
You have the chance to be on the ground floor, a chance to be the first beta tester, a chance to be one of the first games to play an NFT. Fortnite uses their community for beta testing. Splitgate, join their Discord. You can give them actual feedback, and it's for free. But they want you to pay, what is it, $50?
I don't know the actual
for
price.
10. Yeah, I think it's $50. And you get an exclusive limited edition NFT, which I own. I signed up for it. I didn't pay for money. I just got the free NFT. I wanted it. But it's a scam. Because here's the thing. There's no proof of concept. There's no idea. You don't know what the first game he's going to be making. There's no beta test. There's no... All these releases it's going to be using UE5, which stands for Unreal Engine 5. But that's with so many NFTs out there. They seem like it's a trend when it could be legitimately a scam. And I'm not saying that he's going to be scamming, just as a note. I'm just saying the way he phrased it was very much so a scammy phrase. And I know people are defending him like, it's his company, it's his... It's no different than, like... I'm going to compare it. It's no different than what FaZe K did. Like, he's now claiming that he didn't scam. Oh, yeah, it's just K. Sorry. He's no longer FaZe.
K.
But he is now saying that he was a part of that. He didn't really know he was a scammer as well. Like, but like, you still promoted it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the danger with NFTs and all that stuff, is it just, you don't know what's true and false.
Yeah.
I would say if you really enjoy a piece of artwork from the artist, find them on DeviantArt or some other program like Artfoil, Artlist.
Yeah.
A couple others. Give them a donation and ask to buy that artwork from them, and they'll give you that JPEG, and they'll more than likely they will be okay with you printing it off and putting it on your wall. Like this one behind me, it wasn't printed off. This one was shipped by the artist. I don't have the rights to reproduce it, nor will I ever scan it even into my computer. But when you donate to an artist, give them $30, that is going to make their day more than an NFT would. And there are so many good artists out there that get lost in the hype. Like Skygirl, she's our mod. Follow her on Instagram, Gracie Illustrations.
She's really good
gorgeous art.
Fantastic.
Gorgeous. And like so many others that she follows, like Calf Artist, a couple others. There are a lot of good artists out there that don't get the recognition because they're just a small time artist. And
it's not an NFT.
Yeah. And I feel like for NFTs, it's going to be more and more computer generated hype than it is actually going to be real people drawing it, because as soon as you put money to it, it becomes worthless.
Yeah.
More and more, like, as soon as you give out, like, if Fortnite did free cups that just gave out skins, nobody would play the game after a while.
True.
Like, look at all the pros. They complain more than they actually help the game.
Yeah.
But as soon as you put money on it, people are going to stay for money. They want the money. That's their livelihood.
Yeah.
And that's the same with NFTs. It starts off as a good thing, but it eventually will just end of people wanting to just make more money. So they're going to do AI making, AI tracing, even stealing other people's work. Like, look at that one. There was one time of Tim the Tatman where somebody just blew out his head and sold it as an NFT for like 1 Ethereum.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you can literally take a snapshot like this and make it an NFT.
True.
It doesn't have to be a good piece.
Just take a picture of Kevin.
Yeah, anybody can make it anything an NFT.
Hey, Kevin.
Like that person who bought the first, it's a picture of the first tweet. They don't own the first tweet. They own the picture of the first tweet.
Yeah. I can't even find the guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's Jack Dorsey. He's the owner.
Okay. But like, yeah. Well, maybe former owner if Tesla buys it. I just think for NFTs, I think an NFT would actually be really cool if you had a concert ticket because they're all on your phone now. If you link that to your wallet and then you could see that concert ticket for all the life of your wallet, I think that would be honestly really cool. Being able to keep digital momentums online as an NFT would be cool. Or like you meet somebody, you buy a VIP backstage ticket. Being able to keep that on your phone forever. Because we don't do ticket stubs anymore.
True.
I think that would be so much cooler than betting it on a video game. There's better real world applications for it and then giving it to a community like video game people that really don't want it. I do enjoy NFTs. I'm just going to put that out there. I think they're really cool. But again, I think there's just too...
It's a scary space.
It's not a scary space. I just think it's too overhyped right now. It's a trend, not a lifestyle.
That's a good way to end it right there. That's a really good way.
Like, I think that this tech, especially for the digital art community, could be amazing. But until they police it more or do something to stop pirating.
Yeah.
Because one last thing in closing thought. Somebody could upload my artwork on an NFT. And I'm claiming this as an artist. Then they own the NFT. I try and post it. I get called out for stealing. Even though they stole my artwork. Just the way that NFT works.
Yeah. If you post it first, it's yours. But
if they get
if it's stolen.
Yeah. If somebody steals my artwork and posts it, they own the rights to it. And if I can't post it, then I would hope that nobody would do that to me. But there's no way I can stop somebody from profiting off of what I draw. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm a good enough artist to ever somebody would want to do that. But I'm saying there's a chance that it could happen.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll make an easy buck. All right. Metaverse, Facebook, Twitter.
First of all, Meta.
I don't know.
I use the bleeper there just so everybody knows.
Okay. Wow.
I'm just gonna put it this way. We've already spent an hour on this so far. This is probably gonna be another hour topic.
Really?
I think Metaverse is the biggest scam in history.
Okay.
It's coming off Hot Topics. Everybody's throwing it. Again, it's another buzzword right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to call it Epic on it. Epic Games, when they made the partnership to make a metaverse for kids. You're not making a metaverse for kids. You're making a game for kids. Roblox, they're the metaverse game. They're making an online experience. I think metaverse people are using it to be more trendy than just a video game. Because I feel like most people now view video games as, oh, you play video games. Oh, no, I play a metaverse experience.
But
like,
so
it sounds more
so
hip.
is meta... Quick question, just going to cut you off for just a second. Is Metaverse just video games?
No, but in the video game realm, Metaverse, I'm saying, is a scam.
Okay.
When a big company says they're making the leaps forward in the Metaverse to make the next online video game, it's an online video game. It's not the Metaverse.
Yeah.
The Metaverse, by the definition, is a digital world.
Yeah.
Look at Meta, and I'm meaning Facebook Meta, not the Metaverse. Like, okay, that's just getting confusing, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. The meta.
Like, the Meta, he's working on building a digital world that you'll put on your VR, and it's a digital world.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, quick thing, going back to the NFTs. There's also a scam right now on NFTs where you can buy digital land and it's an NFT with crypto. Don't ever buy those because nobody's going to use those platforms that they're building to make a metaverse. You're buying it's like buying land on the moon. Nobody owns the moon, but you bought land on it.
Yeah.
It's just a trend to say you own digital land. Nobody's going to use those platforms. Please don't buy those. You're wasting your money. Buy a Tier 3 sub to
Anyway,
Two Bros Gaming.
The meaning of Metaverse is a virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and other users. So
Exactly.
that's Metaverse meaning.
When you're playing a digital world, I mean, like Roblox, you're playing a digital game. It's not a metaverse because you have to interact in real life. You're using M&K. Maybe a VR headset. What Metaverse of like Meta's talking about is literally an entire world where you go in, you can create your avatar. Like say you're built like me, okay? I have a blown out knee. Actually, 2 blown out knees. I can barely walk some days. I can create an avatar then that looks like he's jacked. I can change every little aspect because it doesn't have to be you.
Yeah.
You can create an online avatar that will be more realistic than you.
Yeah.
And you can be popular, you can be fit, you can be cool.
I mean, you're still interacting with actual people because it's the metaverse.
But
technically.
I'm going to say the pros.
NPCs.
I'm going to say the pros before the downside. Okay? Because there are some legitimate pros. I think for remote workplaces, Metaverse will be great. If you can create an online business place where you pull on your VR headset and go to your office.
Yeah.
And you can work with other people, or if you just want to tune everybody out, you can go into like your happy place. You could work on a beach or something.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. But at the end of the day, using it for work and then taking off your mask and then doing your real life. Because I love VR. I love VR entertainment and all that stuff, but I love it as VR as entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't think VR should ever be used to do life. Because, I'll get to that in a second, but more pros. You could hire somebody in the United States to work in Edmonton by just pulling on your helmet. And then you can get to know them, especially when they have like their avatars like that. You can get to kind of know what they're like. Especially if you're a company that makes it lock your avatar to be similar to your face, like an emoji or an emoji or something. That would be really cool. Like during lockdown, they had for car manufacturers, they had greater productivity because their designers were able to design everything in VR and send it to their boss. And if their boss didn't like it, all the boss would have to do is send an email of, that's not the greatest. Instead of being told to their face, that actually is bad. Because you can take written criticism better than to your face criticism. I
mean, there's also the other point where if you don't necessarily credit not to your face, like not controversy.
You don't get the
writing, like you don't get the actual impact of
being
it's not
told
good.
you did a good job in
really
real
need
life.
To restart, like you really do need to restart, and they'll just be like, oh, they just thought it was not as good. I'll just tweak it a little bit. No, well, there is a point of which, yes, it's better for creative minds for sure, but you need to get across, and you can't just do that with an exclamation part or a period. You can't do that with. You need a certain amount of face to face.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I work online. I love working online. That I don't have to drive to work or anything like that. Why are you spraying stuff down?
My screen's dirty. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oh, okay. But like I work online, and I love being able to, because I use Zoom not Zoom, we're using our own call, but I'm not going to call it out because I don't want somebody finding out where I work. Not because I don't want people to find out where I work, just simply because my work doesn't want people to find out where I work. Long story, but I love being able to see people's faces. But you still lose a lot of human interaction by not being able to know your coworkers. Like, I really love the people I work with, and I get to meet them a lot. Well, not a lot. I get to meet them in person. I have met all my coworkers, except for one, in person. And I love it. But going to a completely digital workspace, I'm just going to wait a second here because it's going to lag.
It lagged?
You can overload the encoder by doing that, like that.
It did it?
No, we're good.
Nope. Turned it on?
Oh.
Lagged?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Woo! Now we're back 3 times.
Sorry.
But yeah.
I'm sorry, I just had
now I'm going to slowly go into the cons of the metaverse. When you take it away from just being a productivity standpoint of being able to do stuff online as a business, and you make it a form of entertainment, you lose the fact that people are going to lose themselves.
True.
Humans, as a species, we're surprisingly dumb.
Surprisingly dumb, yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are probably one of the dumbest species on this planet.
Yeah. I'm just going to do a little example. So, a bird would never purposely do something knowingly
That it would hurt them.
That it would hurt themselves.
We go bungee jumping.
We go bungee jumping. It's a little darker, but we use drugs.
Mm-hmm.
People take drugs knowingly. It's going to hurt them, but they don't
do it
care.
For the thrill, yeah.
They do it for the thrill. They do it for the experience.
Mm-hmm. We do
It's
stuff
going
to
to hurt you.
us.
It's going to kill you
Like
eventually.
Yeah.
But
And
a bird would never do that because their primal instinct is to protect themselves.
Yeah,
But
because we're a
So,
thinking species,
we're not
we
dumb.
do stuff that are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a matter of time, especially if we do an online. This is going to be hard to explain.
No,
What they're talking about of an online world is literally a world where you can just forget your problems and go and live a separate life.
Mm-hmm.
So you get home from work, you pull on your mask, and you can go from being Ethan to being not
Ethan
just
Hunt.
psycho. Yeah, I could become Ethan Hunt. Mission Impossible, rogue pirate who can take on the universe.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are going to, at the end of the day, go, oh, that was a fun time playing, take off their mask, go look at themselves in the mirror and be like, you know what, I'm happy with who I am.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, why can't I be like that guy?
Yeah.
Why can I not be Ethan
We
Hunt?
actually already have a picture of it with Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Hollywood. Look at how much they change what body image and stuff like that. I think most people can agree that Hollywood does change. Like what you can think of what's okay for body image, what you think, like they change that.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to use
That's
myself
gonna
as an
do
example.
it's going to do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad when I don't look like a Hemsworth.
Mm.
I stay in shape as much as possible. Like I'm not the most in shape person, but I have a blown out knee.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't go for runs and all that stuff, but I keep in shape as much as I can.
But I don't really care. I couldn't care less if you thought I was overweight or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
like,
care. I'm healthy. I eat healthy. Mm-hmm. I walk. I do lots of exercise. If you don't like the way I look, don't care.
Mm-hmm. But like,
don't care.
one second. I feel like when we go to look at anybody who views a Hollywood person and wants to be them. They're going to use steroids or stuff like that in order to become that person.
And they may not knowingly say, "Oh yeah,
I want to
do
look
this
like
for
a
to
Hemsworth."
change your body image of how you feel." But if you look at it, most actors are jacked. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. Most female actors, very in shape. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily say, the actors don't necessarily say, yeah, I'm changing your body image by looking this way. No,
it's the image of like what people, when they do a movie, they purposely hire people based on their looks and based on their acting skills. Sometimes that's a secondary. But like when you're a superhero, you don't want a superhero that just looks like a normal person. You want them to look like they got ripped abs. Like you want them to look like they're a super person.
True.
And that slowly changes in your subconscious the ability to be able to be like, now most people view that's what the average human should look like. Mm-hmm. That's not an average human. That's somebody who's literally been paid to work out every day.
Yeah.
In order to look like that.
Sometimes even twice a day.
Mm-hmm. And just look at the amount of people who will literally, and I will call myself out on this. I used to view that as the average person, and I wanted to look like that so bad. Mm. I have worked very hard on not caring what I look like.
Mm-hmm. I think.
But I'm just gonna finish my statement.
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. I'll take off after.
We're just kind of bouncing around a lot here, but that's gonna be the 1,000 times fold in the metaverse, where somebody can literally make what they want to look like, and they take off their helmet, and they have to look at a scar on their head right here every day and be like, why do I look like this? Mm-hmm. Why do I have to go back to work? They're gonna pull on that mask and go back in because they want to live their perfect life.
Mm-hmm. And I'll just take this. Offer more of a Twitch side for body image and stuff like that. Twitch streamers have done a really good job in the past of not really caring. But recent times, it's been the gym phase. It's been like, oh, I have to get jacked. I have to look good. I have to feel good. You know what I'm saying? I have to do all this. And there's nothing wrong with doing daily workouts. That's very good. It's very healthy. But strongly suggest. But people have turned it more into body image than health.
You can take it too far. Mm-hmm. You can take a good thing to excess, like playing video games. It's a good idea to play video games. I love doing it to stream and doing it to unwind, kind of chilling.
Yeah.
But you can't ever forget there's a real world out there.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much fun you can have in a video game. And I think this is another thing
of chat.
What I'm just going to say. I think this is the real reason why Twitch streamers are doing it. Look at all the streamers who are currently on that. Like Ranger, he's always been a fitness person, but he still streams, but he doesn't care what people think of him. He just likes being, his fitness is his off-stream activity.
Yeah.
Same thing with like, but look at all the streamers who are currently on the fitness craze. They're streamers who have been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I think what they're more meaning is they want to be able to kind of begin living life off stream. So they're doing things like streaming is very much so a very difficult job.
It's probably the most hours you'll ever put into a job and the least you'll ever get out of it.
Unless you're a big streamer that can make millions. But even then, you're
Even
still
with
putting
them,
300 hours a month.
300. They do more in a day than somebody would. Twitch streamers do 24 hours. They push themselves beyond their limits. They will put way too much into it
To get so little out of it.
So even millions. That's just money. You don't know their mental state. You don't
And
know
you still have to pay mods. You got to pay people. You got to do all these other things.
In order to make millions, you got to pay millions. That's what you got to do.
Back on subject here.
Yeah.
We're going to the Twitch side. Wow, we're just all over the place.
It's important though. Twitch is a metaverse. You don't.
It's an online.
You go into somebody's chat. They don't know you.
You're interacting with other people that are just text, words of text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could be anybody on Twitch. You could be a serial killer in real life, but in Twitch you could be literally the nicest person in the world.
Exactly. And I'm just gonna put it this way, but
You could do the
I
same
feel
thing
like with the metaverse, when everybody's like not freaking out, but everybody's talking about the metaverse. Everybody has the image in their mind of the world is very expensive. But they view the metaverse as a free place to go to do stuff. But ultimately, if we leave it in the hands of big tech, like Facebook, Microsoft, it's the next frontier for them to make more money. The metaverse is not going to be a free world or a free game to play.
Yeah. You're going to bring your actual credit card in.
You're going to need to, it's going to be a pay to play sort of thing. You're going to need to buy clothes. You're going to need to buy a house. You're going to need to decorate your house. So you're going to be spending as much money probably in the game that you're going to be spending in real life.
Yeah.
And for less of a real thing. It's going to be fake. It's going to be held in a data center, not anywhere near reality.
And what happens if we go from just the VR headsets to full VR bodysuits? They can make you freeze. They can make you warm. They can make you the perfect body temperature in game. That's
you could be
probably
in the middle.
Way too much control that you'd want to give one person.
This is a good example. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah,
I do this a lot.
Go ahead.
Pokemon Go.
Go.
Look at how many people have, unfortunately, this is very tragic, have died playing that game because they're trying to catch a Pokemon in the middle of a street. People were literally carted off of, like, I remember when the heyday of it. People would put signs in the back room of their store. Do not go back here. You will be arrested. There are no Pokemon in our store. I remember that in stores.
I remember that too. Walmart's too. Not just like little mom and pop shops.
Like big stores.
Walmart's, Costco's. They had these signs. This was like early, like 20.
I can't remember when it was popular.
14, something was around there. It's still a popular game
people
too.
Are
like,
dumb.
But
we're really like, who's gonna? People think they're fine and they're trying to catch a Pokemon off the side of the cliff and fall over. Think of that in real life, where you're in a metaverse, you're walking around in a full bodysuit, and you're on the top floor of an apartment. You walk off that balcony. It's not going to be a fall in game. That's what it's going to be like. If like people are going to be so disconnected, and I'm not meaning the metaverse of like you're sitting there playing Beat Saber. I think that's kind of fun. That's an entertainment. That's not a metaverse. You're playing a game. This is one where you're literally living a digital world.
Yeah.
Where you're living a digital life, eating digital food, drinking digital soda, watching a digital movie in a digital movie theater.
And I think we as humans, for video games wise, I understand like the casual players and stuff like that. Are they really casual though? How many hours do they actually put into the game? Even though they're not going to get anything out. We as humans like to put a lot into stuff. A lot. Like usually we like to put 100% of our effort in, unless it's actual work, and then not so much. But like for video games and stuff like digital stuff, we like to put 100% focus, 100% effort. We're not really paying attention to anything else. It's the video game. It's me in the video game. That's it.
And it's
what happens if that's a VR bodysuit, VR headset,
we're going to have
you
people...
don't see the real world.
And people then, like, a lot of our senses we can tune out in correct situations. Like, I have the ability, sometimes, I can help tune out pain. I worked construction for many years. I would literally come home and my hands, because I worked shingling, like roofing, my hands would be embedded with like shingling material and fiberglass. And I wouldn't feel it until the end of the day.
Same.
And you're like, wait, that's what my arms look like? You don't feel it until all of a sudden you just like calm down, you're relaxing. But when you're wearing a VR headset, part of me is going to be wondering, how many people are just going to keep playing? Like 45 hours later and they're like, wait, I need to eat? Like people are going to forget, they're going to tune out reality.
Yeah.
They're going to,
especially if they don't want to return to reality. Especially if it's like a really bad situation in your actual home life or something like that. They're not going to want to.
It's going to be masked by the game. Like that's why video games are so popular, is they help people tune out from what's happened.
Which is a good thing. Like that's a good thing where you can go into a area and you don't have to worry about
you just have fun.
Home stuff, or you just have home. You just have, it's a home within a home kind of a thing where you feel safe and stuff like that. Unfortunately, sometimes people feel too safe and then they just like are racist and disgusting.
No, that's a different story.
That's a different story altogether. But
I do want to get into that, actually. We're going to talk about in another podcast, toxicity in gaming. That one's one that I really do care about and I want to get into.
Yeah. So
we will be talking about that. Probably that one will be after the May the 5th. Plans for podcast is we might do one light, one heavy, one light, one heavy. This one will be the heavier one. More informational side. But yeah, another thing with like, forget living in a digital world where you could possibly have like a digital future and all that stuff where people are like all that stuff. Forget about that. You're giving one thing to a company. When you put on a VR headset, these aren't going to be ones like we have now where you just put it on and it's like they use your computer to see around. These are going to be ones that are going to watch your face. Like the Oculus Quest 2. Oculus is owned by Facebook. Do not buy Oculus. Okay? I'm just going to... Mark Zuckerberg is the most untrustful man in the world.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Just look at the amount of lawsuits that man has had. Look into the history of Facebook. It is not safe. Instagram, Facebook, I don't care if like we get hate on this. It is not safe. But then you're giving this person who owns Facebook, possibly in the future, your brain's activity, your face, what it does.
Your biometrics.
You're giving your entire, not just biometrics, you're giving them vitals.
Yeah.
To Facebook or another big tech. You wouldn't tell your best friend what your heart rate is. Well, you might. Or like, what's your
maybe
blood
if you're
pressure?
like on a run and you have like a Fitbit. But
yeah,
Fitbit's Amazon, is it not? Or not
Fitbit's
Amazon.
Google.
Like Google, exactly.
Fitbit's big tech. Like that's why I don't like smart watches, simply because I like just wearing a watch. I would think I would just be on my watch all the time if I had text coming in. Like that's just my personality. I like technology. I love technology.
Let's just say not everything's out there to get you. Let's just say that sometimes it is just not necessarily it's harmless. Sometimes
but sometimes
I wouldn't say Fitbit would be like they're purposely storing all your heart rate information.
No, but Fitbits can save your life though.
They
like
can.
There's little times where your heart rate, especially for an older person, it goes off or goes wrong. They can alert your doctor.
Yeah.
And
Which
then they
is
can
really
alert your next, like especially if you're older, as soon as it senses an irregularity in your heartbeat, imagine being able to send that information to your doctor immediately, plus all of your past histories of your heart, and then immediately to your family as well. And it's already called the ambulance for you of this person needs help.
Yeah.
So you could get to somebody who's just like an older person who had a stroke. Like a lot of times if it's an older person, especially in American homes, you don't know, sometimes they're off by themselves.
Yeah.
Being
Which
able
is
to get
really
to them,
sad.
Yeah, being able to get to them before you know something's wrong is invaluable. And I think that's a good. But we're then moving away from like in the metaverse, what is useful information into what is just harmful information, like your brain's pattern scans of like, we can scan when something...
I don't even think normal people would want to know what their brain is doing.
No.
Because honestly, our brain is so complex, and just think we only use, 10%?
That's false. We use 100% of our brain.
100% of the brain that's actually unlocked.
No, we don't. I don't buy that at all. Like if we had 100% of our brain, the basically adaptation and variation. I'm not going to get into that actually. adaptation variation. You adapt to use what you need. After a while, we would have adapted no longer to use those parts of our brain. If those parts of our brain no longer had a use, we wouldn't be using them. Think of how many subconscious things we do, like breathe. You never have to think breathe. Like, sure, if you're stressed, you breathe. Or blink. Or heartbeat. Or listen. Or see. I think when people say we use 10% of parts of our brain, I do believe that. We use 10% of things that we can actually think, like thinking. All the rest of the 90% does automatic things.
True.
Like muscle movement. Or like we don't have to think, okay, pull one finger muscle back, that one. Or like when we're playing M&K or controller.
But just think if you, like...
You're giving...
It's not a good thing if you, like, turned off all of those, like, subsystems and, like, stuff that you don't... you don't necessarily think you use, but you use all the time. But imagine if you could use 100% of your entire brain just for thinking.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be like literally
imagine
blowing
this,
Elon Musk
though.
out of the water. But
Imagine this though.
Sorry, that was an off topic.
Yeah, it was. But it was
a very cool idea though, if you think about it though.
Imagine this though. So Facebook, when you're using their version of the metaverse, they give you something that you see that gives you pleasure. And they're able to scan your brain and like, oh, this person likes seeing puppies playing with kittens. They're going to be able to tailor your digital world into seeing things that you only like. Like imagine in a digital world.
Oh, they find this scary. Okay, we'll turn that off.
Exactly. Imagine in a digital world, like as much as I hate people being nasty to each other, and we're going to get into this when we do the toxicity in video games and social media podcast. But like, at least it's just text and maybe voice comms. But imagine being able in a digital world where somebody's being racist and homophobic to your face.
Just to turn them off.
Well, not just to turn them off.
Or just to...
But like, when something like that, because there's going to be people who are horrendous in the metaverse. You're not going to escape them.
No.
But imagine after a while they make an update where you never have to hear that. Where because you're talking to a digital person, their voice is getting carried through their mic to your ears. They're going to be able to scan what they're hearing, use like some sort of AI software, because they have that, to finish what people are saying and change their voice into something entirely different. So you could be having two entirely different conversations with someone.
Yeah.
You could be talking to them about the weather. They could be talking to you about their new car. And you would never know.
Yeah.
Because Facebook would be like, oh, that person doesn't like cars. We're going to let them talk about weather.
Which would be turning actual people into just NPCs.
Yeah, you're turning real people. You don't know what... That's the thing with the digital world or a digital metaverse. You're taking reality and removing reality. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
At least in the real world, it's rough. There are bad things that happen. There are bad people out there. But there is so much good that can happen. You're going to lose out more than what you're going to gain.
Yeah.
You're going to lose the reaction of somebody when you tell them something good that's happened. You're going to lose them being like, you got a job. You got engaged. Think of all of these different things that we have, like the joyous event of somebody getting married. Taking it into a digital world, it loses its...
Yeah. And might not even be you're not actually seeing their actual reaction. It could be Facebook just showing you a reaction that they would think you would want to see.
Like you're taking
There's nothing
away
special about that.
You're taking away what makes life special and replacing it. Like everybody wants to play in a video game, and I think first person video games are going to be cool, where you're going to be able to explore Horizon Forbidden West in VR. That'll be cool. But when you take it into real life and expect people to play real life as a video game, that's not going to be cool.
No.
And them going to be able to control every single action of your life.
Yeah.
And then, but the plus side of that, you're living in a VR world. You're spending real money in a virtual world to get virtual goods. And they're still making money.
Yeah. And we've already seen horrible stuff happen because of certain video games just being on a screen.
You look at GTA.
Look at GTA. Look at Call of Duty.
Okay. I know I harp on Call of Duty, and I do apologize. There was a study that came out of what trauma does to your brain playing first person. And if anybody does play first person video games, it's okay. First and foremost. But there is actually damage that it does do to your brain. Being in a first person game will dull your pain sensor for other people's pain. That's what happens when a psychopath They don't like, and I'm not meaning psychopath of like a Joker kind of person. They're legitimate, and I've met legitimate psychopaths who don't feel pain when they ruin somebody's livelihood.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
scary.
what a
It's
first
scary, man.
person. That's just what a screen can do to your brain. Imagine what a VR can do to your brain. The amount of just rewiring it will do. Like, forget. And I know I'm gonna bring on Facebook. Facebook can change what you see in real, like, view as reality.
Yeah.
Studies have been done. You have a negative Twitter feed, you're gonna be a negative person. You have a positive Twitter feed. I police my Twitter feed to the T. Like, I only have virtual photography of Horizon Forbidden West, hockey, and a couple of creators like Blazer that we follow, that I see their tweets. I don't see anybody else's tweets. I don't want to see negative comments. I don't want to see stuff like that because I don't want that in my brain.
Yeah.
But people who have negative Twitter feeds are ultimately a negative person. Same thing with positivity. Same thing with depressive. I can't tell you how many times I'm going to use my work experience. When kids watch TikTok, I've seen good kids, legitimately kids that I've enjoyed, become kids that are so dark, depressive, and just sad. It's sad to see.
Yeah.
But you can see what just a screen does to rework your brain. Imagine what a virtual experience would do.
Yeah.
To rewire. You're not rewiring the brain, because a rewire of a brain can be undone. You're rewiring a person.
Yeah. And rewiring a person so that, let's say this is sad. If they, let's say, eliminated somebody from a video game.
They view that as real. They view that as fine.
What if they view that as, oh, it's just they're going to respawn in real life? That is so scary, and that is so depressing, and we're not here to scare you off like of VR and
These
stuff.
are things
this
that
is
people
things
aren't
you've got to
talking
realize of what it could, of what could possibly be a future that we have, and we might not actually have control of it. Just be careful, be constantly thinking of what you're putting in your brain, be constantly listening, like whatever songs you listen to, whatever things you watch, whatever
you watch, what you
always
become.
You watch what you become, you say what you like.
There's a saying, and I'm gonna say it from the Bible: bad company corrupts good morals.
True.
Whatever company or whatever things you keep are gonna corrupt who you are.
I think that's just whether or not you're somebody who's
a believer or not.
Or
that rings
that's
true
just good.
Everything.
That's just good. Honestly, there's a lot of good life lessons that you can learn from.
But
the
one second,
Bible and stuff
I'm just
like
gonna
that.
just say one thing here. I think the metaverse would be cool as an experience, but not as a lifestyle.
True.
Like, that's what it's going to come down to is losing yourself in a video game is fine. It's perfectly okay to like forget your problems for a few hours and then just take off your helmet and go back and do what you have to do.
And unfortunately, I think we've already seen like the metaverse become a lifestyle already because of crypto, because of NFTs. NFTs and cryptos are a lifestyle. Well, you look at it, it's a lifestyle.
It's not a choice. Like, you just choose one day to, I'm going to buy one NFT and be done. You're more than likely, like, I'm going to pull out Fortnite. Fortnite was really the first game that we really saw digital goods become mainstream.
Yeah.
Where people will legitimately want to be paid in V-Bucks over real money. Like, I'm trying to think back, like, maybe it was just the first big game
that you saw used, or it became mainstream or something like that.
But like, it's a digital game where people like to buy digital goods. And
just, I think,
I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought there so
I think
bad.
that's just a proof that we don't necessarily keep in touch with reality as much as we should. Yeah. Maybe is more of a thing that you could probably view that little statement that you went off
before Fortnite, there was really once you buy a game, live service games were kind of, I can't think of any live service except for Hitman. Hitman was like the original live service game.
Yeah.
But you still had to pay for that one. Fortnite became like the just pure not copyright, I feel like free to play, no hands attached. And people then began buying digital goods.
Yeah.
We're now in a world where people will accept a digital good more readily than if you offer them food. Like you offer a kid nowadays a chance between a candy bar or a Peter Parker Fortnite skin.
What skin?
They're going to choose the Peter Parker Fortnite skin. And like, that's not a bad thing.
Imagine, okay, this is actually a funny side trail. Imagine though, for Halloween, instead of people giving out candy, they gave out like little V-Buck cards. I would love that. Like, I would go trick or treating. Like,
I would trick or treat as a 2-year-old.
I would spend the most on my costume and just do whatever it takes because I want that V-Bucks card. But yeah, it's just that was a funny little side trail. That's where my brain went off too. I was like, ooh,
V-Bucks.
candy bar, V-Bucks, yeah.
But like, I'm personally of the persuasion of like, if it's a game you play a lot, it's okay to spend like $20 maybe a month on it. Because again, that's maybe a movie. Maybe like either a movie or a dinner or something.
Yeah.
It's not going to break the bank.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you begin spending millions or thousands of dollars on a game that you need to live, like the money that you need to live, you're spending on a game. That's where it gets a little bit bad.
Yeah. So let's just do closing statements here because it is technically past lunchtime and I am hungry. Let's just do closing statements here, and then we'll end this little podcast here. This was again, informational podcast. This is
we're talking about our
views.
topic.
Yeah.
And I just wanted closing statements on the Metaverse. The Metaverse, in a productivity standpoint, from work, like being able to work with people that you never see in a digital environment, that would be cool. Or as an entertainment form, as a short form entertainment, that'll be cool. My problem lies when you give that key to big tech, who've already proven in the past that their biggest thing is just the bottom line. They're going to be able to manipulate you so hard, you're probably not going to be even able to tell how much money you're spending in real life versus in the digital world. Like, that's where it's going to be ultimately scary.
Yeah, we've gotten too smart as humans of tricking other humans into doing what you want.
Yeah, just look at how advertising works nowadays, of being able to sell a movie, like, because it has a very good cast, people are going to go see that movie.
Yeah.
It could be a garbage movie, but they enjoyed the actor in it.
Yeah.
Like, we can manipulate so many things to make it seem like I just bought a computer case. I'm going to explain why I bought the computer case, because it has ultra cooling and all that stuff. I bought it because I want it. I can explain it away. I just wanted that computer case.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good computer case and all, but we're gonna the look of that computer case. There's probably another computer case that might have been a little cheaper, that does the same thing, but doesn't look as good, and you're gonna want to go for something that looks better. Like,
exactly.
Come on, it's humans. We like that. We always go to something that looks better.
Yeah, and
that's scary. And that's.
But there are also good things that can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
In a digital world, but the biggest thing is we're gonna have to worry about is when we lose in touch with reality. And I feel like this is definitely a darker podcast of like, these are things that we didn't really have to think about 20 years ago.
No.
We didn't have to think about when we were playing the Wii. One day I'm going to be able to play real life tennis and make it feel like I'm playing it in real life. Like,
you mean playing video game tennis to make you feel like you're in real life? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but as an entertainment form, it's great. As a lifestyle, absolutely no way get that away from me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to live a digital life.
Yeah. And as we get better also at our animation and how we do stuff.
Like, look at any Steam game right now. It's like, I'm a VR person. And you're barely moving.
Yeah.
Imagine a world in the future where probably you're going to need a couple of better GPUs, but you're able to produce a more lifelike image.
But we're getting so much better with our GPUs that they could make them that tiny and they could do literally what my entire PC does in like 2 seconds faster. Like just
and as an entertainment form, I would say that's great. Being able to do a virtual escape room with a couple of your friends from across the world.
True.
Perfect. I would say hands off. That is the greatest form of entertainment right there. Being able to do stuff with real people in real time. That will be so much fun. But the downside of just it would become a lifestyle then. That's a no-no.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep. So let's just do thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you all watching this.
We are not normally this insightful on our podcast.
I mean, if you liked it on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter.
Comment down
social
below.
Medias,
If you do have more questions, please comment down below or jump in our Discord, the Two Bros Gaming. We live stream pretty well almost every day on Twitch, except for 2 days a week. We normally go for live 5 days.
Twitch.tv/the Two Bros Gaming.
Yep, normally live at 11 o'clock. So if you do have questions, feel free to come and ask us there. And again, if we did use any, I just want to make this clear. If we used any like real life references about a person, we won't ever tell a story behind somebody's back. They're just simply there for reference.
Yeah.
That's it.
We would never ever use
somebody else's story for a view.
No, ever.
That's not us.
Not what we do.
And another thing also, yeah, this was a more depressing podcast, a little bit more hard. Next one's going to be about Star Wars, a little bit lighter.
Way lighter.
Way lighter.
Way lighter.
We're going to give our honest opinion about Star Wars. It's going to be coming up probably around May the 4th. So yeah, we're going to do Star Wars next.
Thank you everybody for watching. Remember, use code BROFAM at Cinch Gaming and use our referral code for Alt Gaming, Alt Customs keyboards. They do awesome keyboards, and then Cinch Gaming does amazing controllers. Go check them out. Have a fantastic rest of your day, BroFam. Thank you for watching. Again, this is the Alberta Avalanche podcast. Hit that follow button if you're on Spotify. Hit that sub button if you're on YouTube. See you guys all later. And remember, #snowfall warning.
Like what I'm doing right here, like seriously,
oh my goodness,
that is so trippy right there.
That's trippy.
I'm currently dragging a screen, making our camera smaller on OBS, and it's like, oh, I'm giving myself a headache.
See you guys.